The tubes and racks have all been loaded. The fuses have all been connected to them. And what I've done here is laid them out kind of in the order they would go, or the way they're going to look on the firing site. You know, these racks are paired up to go off simultaneously every 2 tubes. So the fuse would start here at the yellow, will go down. Every mortar is going to match. You know, as it burns down the line, they'll be triggered to go off in pairs. And it's just going to continue on through these racks. So there's going to be 40 shots, 80 mortars, but 40 shots. And then behind them, we're going to have these 2 orange racks. They're 30 shot racks. All 3 racks, all 3 tubes will match. They're going to go off at the same time. First one rack, then the other. And in these racks, I have the New York Harbor Show shells. And then here I have the dew-layer canister shells. These racks are Excalibur and lock and load. And these racks here, these ones in the middle, have Typhoon mortar shells and Black Mamba canister shells. Now the ones on the outside there and here are actually go at the end of the show, but there's no room to put them there. And all 4 of them are going to go off at once, so there's 10 tubes. There'll be 4 shots at once. The 2 on the outsides of the fan will match, and the 2 on the inside will match. Now after all these mortars go off, I'm going to do the cake phase. And I've laid out the cakes kind of how they'll go. They're going to go off in pairs, so whatever you see here is on the other side. It's going to go like that. So whatever here is also on the edge there, then there, and you know that guy, the 2 in the middle, the wind-ups. There's a certain order to them. They're going to go through their progression until they get to Fandemonium, which is a really nice finale cake. We're going to do 2 of them, and these cakes will be about 40-50 yards apart. That's going to die down. It'll probably get the crowd going because they're going to think it's a finale when they see Fandemonium. And then we're going to trigger these missile batteries and red, white, and booms. Now I made these myself. What I did was I ran a quick fuse to the missile battery, and I attached it to a tail that also lights this cake. And while this cake is going, hopefully they're 20-second cakes, a little over 20. So I'm hoping that this fuse, which should be about 15-18 seconds, triggers the next cake. And while that's burning off through its cycle, the fuse will continue to the next cake and light that, and then go to this cake. So altogether and I overlapped them. I'm hoping I get about 65-70 seconds out of them. The missile battery is about that too. And hopefully all 4 will go off at once. So every red, white, and boom, you know, the first one's going off at the same time simultaneously, all 4. The second battery's going off simultaneously, and then, you know, meanwhile the missiles are going off. Now while all that's going on, these triple load mortar shells, I put a slow fuse on them, and I want them to just pop like every 10-15 seconds through the show. You know, those are the triple load mortars. They got 3 explosions in them, 3 breaks. And then we're going to cycle through this cake, the 9mm, the bubble storm, and a 3-pronged attack cake, one at a time. They'll be going off while all this stuff's up front here is going off. Then this stuff's going off too. The Popo magnet's like a 50-second cake. And then this Willow finale rack, that'll probably get the crowd going. But while that's going, while all this is still happening, we're going to do our finale racks. Random shots are in there of Excalibur, lock and load. I take that back, there's no lock and load. There's Excalibur, dew-layer, Typhoon, and I think that's it. But there's a lot of Excalibur in there. It's mostly Excalibur shells. And those are, that fuse is 10, it's a 1 foot every 10 seconds is the burn rate. I put 6 feet on it, so it's a 60-second fuse. So we're going to go through this rack and then the next rack. This is 2-minute finale. That's going to be joined by all of these other cakes and everything that's going off. The crowd's going to cheer. Obviously, at the end of that, I'll be cheering if it goes right. And then when they calm down a bit, we're going to do the actual finale, which is these too hot to handle cakes. They fire off these blue mines, and then they end with like 5 or 6 mortars that go up and explode. They're really nice. But as they're dying down, we're going to trigger this 12 rack finale rack. This is the 3-inch tubes, and they're going to go red, white, blue down the line till the end. And that's how we'll end it. Now that, I put a quick fuse on it. That's like it burns at the rate of 1 foot per second, a half second. So that fuse should go through there in about a second and a half, maybe 2. All of those will be lit, and they're going to go off really close together, and they really fill the sky. It should be a great show, that part. So that's it right now. That's what we got going. I do have to put the electronic E-matches on the cakes here, the way we're going to trigger them and connect them to the modules. And I got to put them on some plywood, but that I'll do tomorrow, which will be the 4th. This show doesn't actually happen until July 6th. So we'll definitely be ready. We're over the hump when we did the wiring to these mortar tubes. You know, those take time. We really want to make sure it goes well. So we're definitely going to put the show up.